Hi, today we're going to go over a pressure cooker. A lot of people don't know how to use the older pressure cookers. I looked online, there's really no videos on there that explain the whole thing. The older pressure cookers actually cook better as far as I'm concerned. I like them, I trust them a lot more than I do the new ones. Your pressure cooker, if you have an older one, look at the bottom and see if you can see the serial numbers and the model numbers on it. If you can get those numbers, then you can actually get online and you can order the parts for them. Okay, on a pressure cooker, you have a plate that goes on the inside. This plate's very important. You're going to put this plate inside, you're going to put water in here, you're going to fill it up to the top of this plate. You don't want no more water than that in here. So put your plate in it, put your water in it, just up to the top plate, and that's it. Okay, with your pressure cooker, once you got your plate inside and you have your water in it, what you want to do is take your seal for your lid and you want to put it in warm or hot water so that it's more pliable and easier to work with. Once it's warmed up, you want to check it for cracks. If there's cracks in it, you don't want to use it. But for this demonstration, let's just go ahead and put it in. This one's a brand new seal. Get online. If you haven't used a pressure cooker ever and you have one that's really old, get online, order a new seal for it. And I'll explain to that here in a second. You have a locking mechanism right here. Can you see it? This is actually a locking mechanism, this piece right here. And it's got a brand new seal in it. Now this one here is your stem. This stem, what it does is once it's starting to cook, it blows steam out of it. If it stops blowing steam for any reason, that means something's clogged in it. So you need to stop whatever you're doing. You need to make sure you can see and blow through this stem. You've always got to be able to see through it and blow through it. It's got to be cleared. That could cause a lot of problems. On a lot of your older pressure cookers, you also have another little seal on the opposite side of your lid. This actually pops out real easy. And all it is a piece of rubber, a piece of plastic that's in there, and it's just kind of formed around it. If you put something in the middle of it, you can pop it right out. What that's for is if your pressure cooker gets too much pressure and this clogs up, if your top clogs up, that will blow out. And then it'll shoot everything everywhere all over your room. So it's very important to keep a new seal in here. Very important to keep a new seal in here. Now when you're putting your pressure cooker together, once you have everything in here, you never want to fill it more than 3/4 of the way full. No more higher. That's it. Okay, when you put your lid on and close it, if you look in here, that little pin's going to line up with your lid. See how that opened and closed right there? And you can see the pin. So now once the pressure starts building up, you're going to put this on your stove and you're going to put it on high with whatever you're going to cook in here. This pin will pop up eventually. When it pops up, you cannot unlock this no matter what you do until the pressure is completely gone out of the pressure cooker. When you're cooking with a pressure cooker, you actually have 3 different weights. This is a multiple weight. This one has 3 holes on the bottom of it. It would say 5 pounds, 10 pounds, and 15 pounds. 5 pounds being low pressure, 10 pounds being medium, 15 being high. That means that 15 pounds, if you put this on here and it's 15 pounds, once this is cooking, this whole thing has 15 pounds of pressure in it. You don't want it no more. That's the highest you ever want to use. 90% of what I cook is always at 15 pounds. You can actually get a different kind of cap for these that looks like this. This one's a 15 pound. Your 10 pound would be smaller, and then your 5 pound would be a lot smaller. So once you're cooking with it and you have it on your stove and you have your stove on high, pretty soon it's going to start shaking, it's going to start cooking up. It's going to start blowing steam out of this hole. Once it starts blowing steam out of this hole, you want to wait for about 1 minute to 2 minutes to make sure it keeps blowing and that it's nice and steady stream, that nothing's clogging it. Then you want to put your cap on top. When you put your cap on top, it's going to take a few minutes to build up that pressure to 15 pounds, and then this is going to start rattling. Once it starts rattling, that's when you set your timer for how long you want to cook something. Now, mine pressure cooker's pretty old. You can replace the handles. You can replace all the parts on here. When my locking mechanism comes up, I have to take a knife and just kind of play with the lock back and forth just a little bit until it locks up. If you don't get it completely sealed, moisture will come out the side and it'll drop onto the front of your stove. That means it's not completely sealed. If it's not completely sealed, that means this washer right here did not go all the way up, or something could be stuck in it. If you have that problem, then what you do is you take this off of the heat with your weight still on it. Let it sit for a few minutes until it cools down for about 4 or 5 minutes. Then you're going to take this whole thing and you're going to put it in your sink with the lid on it. And you're going to run warm water on it. Then you're going to make the water colder and colder and colder. As soon as this lock drops, then you can open it. Do not remove your weight from the top. If you remove your weight from the top, all the steam's going to blow up into your face, and it could cause these seals to blow out. That's the last thing you want. So no matter what, always leave that on until you know it's cool enough and it opens. Once it unlocks and you can open it, then you know you can take this off. One other point I want to make with the seals is while you're cooking with it and it's percolating and it's running, and if you have water coming out the sides, moisture coming out the sides, hitting your stove, then that means you have a bad seal inside of it. That means this seal right here has to be replaced. It's no good. So very important. Now when putting this seal in for the locking mechanism, you want to make sure you're below it. You can see it right in here. You see that little lock? You kind of want to be behind it and below it like that. You don't want to be in front of it. You don't want to be above it. You want to be behind it. Does that make sense? If you have any more questions about a pressure cooker, I think I kind of explained everything to you. With the serial numbers and with the brand name, you can get online, you can order all 3 of these. You can order the new seal for the lid, you can order this seal, you can order new rubber, you can order a new stem for your lock, you can order the gasket for the lock, you can even order the spout, and you can order a new handle. Everything's online nowadays. So if you haven't used a pressure cooker, I recommend before you use it, replace your seals first. Safety first. Other than that, I've used mine for many, many, many years. This was my mom's. Before I was born, she used this a lot, and I still use it to this day. Good luck, and if you got any questions, please leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Okay, so you've got this on the stove. It's cooking. This is percolating. And it's making a lot of noise. All of a sudden, it just stops. If it stops, that means something just clogged that line up. If something clogged that up, you need to remove this from the heat. Do not take this off. Do not. Remove it from the heat. Grab you pot holders. Get this thing in the sink. And while it's in the sink, just run cool water over the top and just make it colder, colder, and colder. Once the lock drops, just like before, once the lock drops, then you can back up and take this off and no steam will come out of it. If this clogs up, you've got to stop. So never leave these alone when you're cooking with these. Always stay in the room with it and listen to it. Most stuff you cook, the longest you're going to cook it, depending on what altitude you're at, could be 30 to 35 minutes, maybe 40 minutes max.